Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think review, and today we're going to be looking at this. This is the new 14th Doctor's sonic screwdriver, but this is the gold, for reasons that I'm still not entirely clear on, Forbidden Planet exclusive. So obviously this is only available through the Forbidden Planet website. Overall, it is your well, I say it's your standard 14th Doctor sonic. This is actually the special edition character options version, which we'll come back to when we actually look at it, but in a more sort of standard edition packaging, and obviously it has a gold look to it rather than the standard sort of burnished silver or the special edition chrome. Now, box-wise, overall, there's not a huge amount to show that's different on it, other than it's got Forbidden Planet exclusive on it. If we turn around, obviously it's got an updated picture on the back. It's got lights and sounds, and it pretty much says everything that you would expect it to say sort of on there. There's not a huge amount to it on the packaging, but I would just like to say at this point as well, I'm kind of hoping that this is a sort of start to getting some Forbidden Planet exclusives. It would be really great to see, because obviously we have the character options exclusive, we have the B&Ms, but we know that electroplating is not something that is it is particularly cheap to do. This was something that came up with the character options edition Sonic. So whilst I know that some people have looked at this and gone, why? And I can understand their questioning why, because it is an odd thing to do. Let's just bear in mind that what this means is that Forbidden Planet have put forward the money, or at least contributed towards getting this electroplated, which we know is not a cheap thing. So let's try and, although it's an odd choice, let's try and look at a positive here, that this is something that perhaps we will hope to see, that Forbidden Planet are sort of potentially looking to back figures, or even a merchandise line of some kind. But let's get on to having a look at the actual Sonic itself. So here we have the screwdriver. As usual, it has the extending emitter, although rather like the chrome version, if you try and sort of display it open, it does sort of close on itself, because it's interesting because it's obviously been sort of electroplated in this kind of sort of burnished gold, but it's also not as chrome as in its sort of tone as the actual chrome one is. This is more sort of a burnished silver, a burnished sort of texture as the standard version is. But it's interesting that unlike the standard version, it doesn't sort of stay open. But other than that, it has all its features. As I said, you've got the opening, extending feature. You've got your different lights and sounds, obviously depending on how many times you press the button. Not going to go through them all. Sadly, again, the emitter at the end is quite sort of dull. It's a little bit of a shame again that that they didn't sort of make that a bit frosted. It perhaps would have made the lights certainly stand out a bit more. When it's darker, you can certainly see it, but if you look at it compared to the central emitter, it basically doesn't seem that it really lights up. Obviously, you've got the rotating ratchet on the end as well. But going back to the character options exclusive one, this actually still also has the additional features that the character options exclusive one had. So to make these work, you've got a button on the end here, and then you've got a button on the middle, and I'm just going to do it at random. So I think it depends on how many times you hold down both for, I think it's 3, 4 or 5 second intervals. So let's say 1, 2, 3. So there we go, we've got a double beep, and that gives us a very loud green setting. And then obviously if we do it again, it should beep once and return back to normal. I'm not going to cycle through them all, but it's interesting that it has got those exclusive features on it. Again, I suppose it just makes it stand out that little bit more, and makes it sort of appeal that little bit more, and make it a little bit more of an exclusive to Forbidden Planet, like the character options one is exclusive to them. And then lastly, here are all three side by side. We've got the standard version, we've got the new gold one, and we've got the electroplated chrome one. You can see what I mean about the sort of, the burnished colour on the gold one is more sort of akin to the burnished one on the silver, rather than actually being chromed. But again, trying to look at the positives on this, it means that that if this is a Forbidden Planet exclusive, which it is, you know, it means that they are potentially looking at putting and investing into the merchandise line, which is great to see. It's great to know. It means we might sort of get some other exclusives as well, and it would be nice to see. You know, we used to have, you used to have different exclusives to different shops and things like that. Like, you know, you had the Toys R Us exclusives and things. So, you know, if we've got B&M figures are sort of become the standard fare, and then we get Character Options exclusive and Forbidden Planet exclusives, that would be fantastic to see. You know, it would be really good to see those, to see the, you know, the line be sort of reinvigorated by sort of different variants in different shops and things like that. Yeah, you know, there's not a huge amount to say about this Sonic, you know, there really isn't. But, you know, personally, again, I can see why it's an odd choice, but I personally actually quite like the gold. I think it looks really good. I like the contrast of the gold, you know, with the gold and the sort of cream crackle midsection. I think looks really good. And do you know what? All it would take is for, say, if the, you know, if David Tennant ever does 14th Doctor audios with Big Finish, or actually even no better than that, a comic, another 14th Doctor comic, where you would just need this to have appearing in one panel or something like that, or in one story, and you could make it canon really easily. You know, maybe, let's see off the top of my head, 14th Doctor combats the Cybermen and creates a gold Sonic to amplify the gold in order to defeat them. There you go, story idea. Copyright CaptainJimiPie 2024. But you see what I mean? It isn't a strange thing to make, but you know, I think it's a nice little extra. It's something that's a little bit, it's a little bit strange. It's a little bit different, but you know, it makes a nice sort of extra exclusive piece, as it were. And I think it's definitely one that is worth picking up, especially if, you know, if you didn't manage to get hold of the, Chrome edition of the Character Options Sonic. This has got, you know, the added lights and sounds as well, and it wouldn't be difficult to repaint this in a silver if you missed out on getting the standard version, which I know a lot of people did. And then the plus side is if you get this one, paint it silver to make the standard version, you've then got the standard version with a load of extra lights and sound features on it. You know, what's not good about that? But that brings to a close another What I Think review. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. I am still doing my figure animation, and there is an update coming on it in future, but in the meantime, the smallest donation is greatly received, and for the smallest donation you get your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.